Hey, welcome to Real Deep, or welcome back. This week's episode, we are going to talk about something I wish I knew a long time ago. This week, we're going to talk about how you do not need to know what you're doing. You just have to start. You just have to start. There's so many things you feel like you need to have before you start something, but it feels impossible because it's like, I need to have this to start, but to start, I also need to have this. And you just keep going back in your head, and you just go around in that circle, and you kind of paralyze yourself from even starting. We're going to talk about it. I created Real Deep because I truly believe that happiness and fulfillment comes from a place of operating in true authenticity and consistently going beyond the surface of your experience. So basically getting real and getting deep, guys. That's why we call it Real Deep. As a reminder, I do a little advice portion at the end. So if you have any questions or just want to yap, you can hit the link in my bio and every social media that I have, or you can email me at realdeepproductions@gmail.com, because I low-key hate my jeans. Anybody from any YouTube watchers that are here, I hate my jeans, so be nice. That probably doesn't matter to you whatsoever, but mattered to me to say. So let's talk about it, guys. You don't need to know what you're doing. Honestly, you really don't. You just need to start. You just need to take action. This is something that I really wish I knew a long time ago. I feel like I have been planning out. I feel like there's a lot of safety in sitting down and planning out your day. Allegedly, it gives you basically the same endorphins as what doing it is, or at least it tricks your brain into feeling like you're doing something when you're just actually planning for the 18th time in a row instead of actually doing something that's on your plan. You know what I mean? So yeah, here's my tea, guys. I feel like the most successful people are the people who just fucked around and found out. And I really understand that. Now that I am in the process of fucking around and finding out, I'm like, oh, gotcha. Yeah, that does make sense. This actually makes sense. You are not supposed to, nobody successful had a perfect path. Nobody has a perfect path. So for you to feel like you have to have all of your, actions and plans completely planned out, I get it, it's natural, but it's actually unnecessary. It's so unnecessary, and it low-key, in my opinion, makes you a little bit more scared to act, and it kind of keeps you in this place of just thinking about things instead of actually doing them. The tea of it all, and we've heard this a million times, is that nobody knows what they're doing. Nobody actually knows what they're doing. They might just look like they know what they're doing. And if they do know what they're doing, they didn't find out how to do it through thinking about how to do it. They found out through doing it really messily. I think there's a lot of pressure that people feel when embarking on a journey to do kind of anything new. People feel pressured to have it all figured out, especially I feel like new grad age or young 20s or just 20s in general. There's a lot of emphasis on feeling like you need to get your shit together, which I'm 27, so I definitely have lived through that era of my life, both post grad and the 20s vibe of being what the fuck am I doing with my life? And it's overwhelming. It is overwhelming. I feel like you even sometimes have to feel that way when you're in high school. You're picking your career, you're picking your college, you're picking all of these things, and it feels like such a heavy weighted decision. It's a lot of pressure. So if you don't fully know, it's am I fucking up my life? I don't know. And it's terrifying, to be honest with you. But there are so many people who go to college and then change their major or transfer or drop out and start a business. There are so many different outcomes of you choosing a college, and just because you choose that doesn't mean you're committing to it for the rest of your life or even for the 4 years. You know what I mean? So yes, it is nice in your brain to feel like you have everything figured out, but I promise you, even if you have the most foolproof plan ever, you will definitely need to change it at some point. That's just how life works. I think people also feel a little bit pressured when other people, guys, I low-key, I'm sorry for my YouTube watchers, I genuinely can't look at myself wearing these jeans. I have to change. Okay, sorry about that. I don't know why I had such a visceral reaction to a dark wash, but I did. So anyway, I feel another thing people feel pressured about is feeling behind because other people seem very confident, or they seem like they have everything figured out, so you feel like you should too, which real, because I feel especially in moments where you're trying to figure out what you're doing with your life, it's very natural to just look at your environment and be okay, what are they doing? What am I supposed to be doing? What the fuck is going on? It's very normal to compare yourself, not even necessarily in a negative way, but just to be hold on, everybody else is getting this job, maybe I should do that too. You know what I mean? Just kind of drawing from other people to see what you want to do and see what you want to take from their experience and what you want to leave. And part of that is feeling very pressured to know what you are doing in the ways that you feel like they know what they're doing, you know? But the thing is, oh, my mom's calling me. Who's calling my phone? Who's calling my phone? I actually can't respond right now. But the tea of it all is that if you are waiting for clarity, if you're waiting for things to make sense, that will keep you stuck. If you are waiting to come up with the perfect plan or feel confident enough to start, you won't. You won't start. Okay, you guys won't start. It's seriously, because the starting messy, like starting in a messy way is the point. Like that is so the first step. It's insane. You can't really get out of it. You can't really take your first step feeling 100% confident about everything. And if you do, you are taking such a human part of the experience out of your process. You are doing it in such a calculated way that it can't even possibly be authentic anymore. You know? I keep wanting to say and I like don't know where that's coming from, but it feels like really right in my body. But anyway, I think the lie that we have been taught is that we need to know what we're doing before we start, which is like genuinely basically the fucking title of this episode. Obviously, you know, that's what we're talking about. Duh. But that is a lie. You don't need to know what you're doing before you start. You need to know you want to do it. Kind of. Like you may not even need to know all that. You might just have a feeling to start something. You'd be like, okay, yeah, that could be cool. You do not have to sit here and be like, okay, how exactly is this going to work? Yes, of course, there are parts of planning that are valuable. I'm not saying you shouldn't plan, but what I am saying is if you have a feeling to start something, you can start that without knowing anything. And I'm going to talk about it actually. A lot of women kind of feel like they need to know everything before they start something because we constantly get shit on if we don't know what we like every single thing about anything. So it's like if we fuck up, the weight is harder, obviously. Like we are going to be looked at as stupid more than a man would be if we quote unquote make a mistake or if we don't know everything right away. That is just what it is being a woman. And I'm sure it's the same way being a part of any other oppressed community. It is not fucking easy. So I feel like we low-key should talk about that because yeah, I feel like men, white men specifically, are really able to just go around, fuck around, find out, and really not have any consequences for that, really. You know what I mean? Get mad at me. I don't actually give a fuck. I'm not even going to explain that, actually. So, yeah, you know what I mean? And if you don't, I don't care. If you have anything other than being a straight white man, it's a little heavier, and I'm not saying that straight white men don't get scared of not knowing what to do. I'm sure they fucking do. But imagine having that as the base level of fear. And then you're also like a gay black woman. Like, the pressure is higher and it's fucked, But the tea of it all is that the journey of becoming confident in what you're doing and knowing what you need to know is continuously fucking up, is continuously getting yourself in a situation where you have no choice but to figure it out. And I am kind of coming at this from my experience of being autistic, to be honest, because I can't tell you how many times I have like socially fucked up an insane amount and just had to figure shit out. There's that. And then I think, guys, we do live in an age where social media is kind of fucking everything. I have to say, like, probably I'm speaking to about 90% of you right now. If you're watching this, you're listening to this, you probably found out about my podcast because of social media, whether you know me in real life or you don't, or if you knew I was doing my podcast, you probably clicked on a link through social media to find this episode, or at least to find the first episode. You know what I'm saying? Like, we live in a world that is ruled by social media. That's just the way it is. I honestly don't give a fuck how you feel about it. That's just the way it is. That's a fact. And the tea of it all is, again, something we know. Social media is a highlight reel. It just is, guys. It just fucking is. That's obvious. We know this. And so I feel like the things that we are exposed to, even if it's somebody putting out a video about, oh, this is the hardest part of what I did, they're still curating that video in a way. I'm not saying they're lying. Curating and lying are two different things. I'm not sitting here saying that they're lying about, the mess. But I am not going to sit here probably. I mean, I don't really give a fuck. I'll tell y'all anything. But like, honestly, I'm not going to, and I say that now too, but I also do have boundaries. Like I could sit here and tell you about all the fucked up shit I'm dealing with. But at the end of the day, I can't be super honest with you about everything. I can't tell you about the shit that I got into a fight with my mom about. That's fucked up. Like I'm not going to put my mom's shit on the internet. Like I'm not going to put my friend's drama on the internet. I think that's not their choice, so I'm not going to do it. So at the end of the day, everything you're seeing from me is a highlight reel, even if I'm a real bitch on the internet, because I am. I'll tell you whatever the fuck you want to know about me, but I can't tell you the fight I got into with my friends or a disagreement I had with my partner. I can't, like, that's not something you could do. Basically, my fucking point is, it is so easy to take in social media as truth, fact, and like basically a point of comparison. So if you see someone who's doing what you want to do, it's very easy for you to be like, damn, they're doing this so well and I'm not even posting. But you don't see them recording 8 videos and deleting all of them and then not posting anything one day. You only see what they post. You only see, even the progress that you see is the good part of the progress. Like, it's the best part of the progress that they want to show you. I have videos in my phone right now of me making a song and recording different takes, you know? I'm not going to be posting my worst take. Sorry, I'm not. I don't feel comfortable doing that. You know, I'm doing that shit alone in my room. But the thing is, I am doing it alone in my room. You know what I mean? Okay, so let's go a little deeper. Something I want to be very clear about is that you do not start something because you are confident. Confidence comes after you start. When I started doing shows last year and doing gigs, guys, my first gig was awful. It was so bad. I'm not even joking. It was so bad. It was my first show I ever had in-ears for. I had a band. I've never really had a band before. I really only ever sing to tracks. I didn't know what the fuck to do. I didn't know what to do on stage. Didn't know how to move. Didn't know what the fuck I was wearing. Like, literally none of this. It was not good. And I invited literally every single fucking person I knew. So everybody I knew came to listen to me fuck up super bad. When I tell you that was the most humbling experience ever. I felt like I wanted to just like sit in a cave for like a week, but I didn't. And everyone was very supportive, sweet, whatever. But my starting point was not confidence. It was blindly hoping to God it would be better than it was, and it wasn't. It was terrible. If anyone has videos from that show, don't fucking put them out there until I win a Grammy, bitch, because it's embarrassing. I did grow a lot from all of my shows. I did, like, I don't know, probably like 10 or 12 or 15, I don't know. But like, I did a few shows. I did, and every single one, I learned something new. Every single one before I went on stage, I'm like, I hope to God I don't embarrass the fuck out of myself. And every single one, I left stage being like, why the fuck did I do that? Like, about a certain thing or a certain note or a certain choice I made or like a movement, whatever. I look back, I don't watch the videos from the shows I've done. I do not do that for my mental health. And it is because I'm not good yet. Like, I'm just not good yet. And that's okay. That is okay. But that's what I've learned through doing it. That's not what I learned through going on Pinterest and picking out my perfect outfit for a potential show that I might have. That's not what I learned through Googling how to book my first show for 8 hours. Like, that's what I learned through DMing somebody who said they needed an opener, going in blindly and not knowing anybody there, and getting up on stage looking like a fucking deer who was just born with like wobbly legs that can't walk. I couldn't possibly sit here and say, oh, now that I'm writing my EP, I know what way I need to write my song so I can set myself up for success for live music. I wouldn't have known that my first song that I ever put out is way too fucking fast for me to sing on stage if I never put it out, or if I never tried to sing it on stage. And I know this sounds like basic information that you already know, but I'm not gonna lie, y'all are acting like you don't know it. Like, some of y'all are acting like you don't know it because or maybe you're sitting here saying that you know it but doing nothing about it. Guess what, diva? Whatever. Anyway, yes, there's a lot of safety in planning things out, but that's all you have. Girl, it's honestly giving like, what if I flop? Oh, darling, but what if you fly? I fucking love that meme, first of all. But second of all, it's low-key true, okay? But the tea of it all is that action, when you plan things, everything is hypothetical. Obviously, we know this. But when you act on things, you create information for yourself, like actual undebatable facts. Okay, when I did this, it didn't work. It didn't. I thought it was going to. It didn't. I have to pivot. The more times you have that experience, the narrower your options get in a good way. The pivoting is what creates experience. The pivoting is what builds undeniable confidence, okay? Fucking up over and over again and doing something about it, okay? Not just repeating the same shit over and over again, obviously, but like doing something about that, that is what creates information. Like that is what creates a plan. You can sit here and go and Google shit and plan all day, but your plan means nothing at all if you don't do anything with it. Duh, guys, come on, duh. And it's like, yes, I can sit here and say duh, and it does sound simple again when I say it, but who's doing it, guys? Who's just sitting here being like, oh, I know. Guilty? Is that you? Okay, well, let's fucking do something about it, guys. I just can't express to you how much fucking up and doing things horribly has made me a better person and made me a more confident person, to be honest. Being bad at things actually has made me so confident, because if you can be vulnerable, if you can be bad at something and allow other people to see you be bad at something, you are kind of unstoppable. I hate to say it, but like I also love to say it, because if I can sit here and do the shows that I did in this past year and feel like, oh, that was shit, that was really bad. Guys, when I tell you, one of the third show I did, my partner and I weren't dating yet, but they came to my show and I had written a song about them. Guys, oh my God. And I got to the second verse and I forgot my lyrics completely forgot it. And I had to restart the second verse, I'm not joking, 3 times, and it never came to me. I never remembered the lyrics. So I was like, guys, fuck. I'm literally sitting here with an audience of people and they are right there watching me perform for the first time. And I'm like, I don't know my lyrics. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm actually just going to skip to the chorus and we're going to keep going. My bad. Sorry. And it was so embarrassing in the moment, but I know that song really well now. And to be honest, the fact that my partner and the fact that we are dating now, like, okay, you stuck around through all that. Okay, you're a real one, like for sure. They still see my talent. They saw my talent through that. You know what I mean? And the fact that I can sit here and have that happen and then be like, oh, listen to this new fucking song. This is about to change the world, because that's how I feel when I write music. And low-key, I do feel like it's gonna change the world. Not gonna lie. You should hear it. It's gonna be great. But like the fact that I could do that in front of them, I'm not really scared of fucking up in front of them anymore. Because if that happened, then I'm literally gonna be fine. Like if the thing is you guys, you get the worst part of it over with kind of immediately. You have to shift your mindset, because if you sit here and say, oh, I don't want to start because I don't want to look stupid, you're kind of fucked. Sorry, diva. But until you change your mind about how that's going to make you feel, you're fucked. I can sit here and give you the most encouraging advice you've ever heard in your whole life. If you have that mindset though, still, you're fucked. You have to get to a point where you're like, you know what? This is going to suck. I'm going to be bad at this. And this is going to be really embarrassing and I'm going to hate it. And I have to do it. That's kind of my only option. So I'm going to do it. And then you do it. And maybe it is as bad as you thought it was going to be. But guess what? It's probably never going to be that bad again. And you know what? I bet you anything, it's probably actually not even as bad as you thought it was going to be. Because are you still living and breathing after that experience? Yes, you are. You are. You might be embarrassed, but you just got the actual hardest part out of the way. I think it's so funny because we assume that once we get to a certain part of success, we will be fearless. But I personally believe that the most fearless behavior comes at the very beginning of just starting. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's how I feel. So for me, just starting making music, guys, the first song I put out, I pulled from all streaming platforms. You only have it if you bought that song. R.I.P. Citrine. She was cute, but she was bad. In comparison to what I do now, it was really bad. But the thing is, I would never have known the kind of music I make, how to make the kind of music I make now without starting off with the worst song you ever fucking heard in your life. Starting taught me so much that thinking could never teach me. Thinking about it, planning it, it could never teach me anything close to what being bad at it and starting did. So now I'm gonna be a bitch. This is the part in the podcast where I'm gonna be kind of a bitch to you. I don't care. We're gonna start with some excuses that we tell ourselves, that you might be telling yourself, and I'm gonna call you out. I'm gonna say why you're wrong. Okay, sorry. No, I'm not. The excuse that I'm gonna start with is, oh, well, I don't know enough yet to do it. How the fuck do you think you're gonna start to know? Look at me in my eyeballs and tell me that you are ever gonna know enough to take your first step. Listen, and I don't want to fucking hear it, because you might be sitting here being like, yeah, but like I probably should study more. Yeah, I probably should do more research. That's fine. But I want you to understand your success in a 6-month period. Okay, let's say you started right now and you were consistent throughout those 6 months. The point you will be at by that 6-month mark will be drastically higher than you planning for 3 months and saying, I'm going to start. Let me just try to get everything together. Let me just blah, 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 blah. And then actually starting 3 months in and then being consistent with it. The experience that you will be better off if you just start right now without knowing anything. And there's so many reasons for this. Obviously, because in my opinion, actions are the most valuable lessons, but also when you start doing something you love or you feel like you really want to do, you become addicted to it. And then you really start wanting to find out information. And the thing is that you're not looking at information that could be helpful or you probably should know. You are searching for actual solutions to actual problems that you are experiencing in this moment. You are not trying to get ahead of potential problems that you heard happen to somebody else. No, you're looking for exact answers to what you need to know, like what you need to know. So the research you would do if you started now is going to be far more valuable than the research about a hypothetical problem you may or may not have. Does that make sense? Another excuse, guys. What if I change my mind? What if I don't want to do this anymore? Okay, then don't. Next. Are you scared that by changing your mind, that means you wasted time? No. I can promise you probably found out by picking something and starting, you found out a lot faster that you actually don't want to do that than you would have if you had just sat around and waited and thought about what the perfect thing was to do and then eventually chose it. You are going to find out a lot quicker, I don't fuck with doing this, if you just do it first. Because you're going to feel it immediately, you know? Basically, I just want you to know, you are allowed to start as a version who doesn't have it all together. We literally all do. I would have died after one day if my mom didn't help me survive as a baby, as a toddler. I didn't know how to speak, guys, but I tried. I said goo goo gaga, hello, and now I'm speaking fluently, hello. Like, I know that's like kind of a weird comparison, but it is actually just the tea. Like, that's just how it is, guys. So I've been doing a lot of yapping, and I feel like, honestly, the majority of it is probably shit you already know. But I don't want you to walk away from this podcast being like, oh, so true. I definitely have heard that before, but that makes sense this time. Okay, good start. But I want you to walk away from this episode being like, okay, let me fuck around and find out tonight, right now, today. As soon as you get off of this episode, I want you to do something. Like, actually do something. So let's say you want to learn how to swim, okay? I don't know. Fuck it. Why not? I love to swim. Great. After this episode is over, I don't want you to look up how to swim. I want you to look up swim classes and sign up for one tonight. You know what I'm saying? You want to learn how to dance? Sign up for a dance class tonight. It doesn't have to be the perfect dance class. And you have to go. Okay, you have to go to the class. I'm like trying to learn how to dance as we speak, and it is so humbling when you don't know how to do it. And when I tell you my first dance class, I was shaking in my boots, scared as fuck to go. I was so scared. And guys, I look back at my video of me dancing. I looked crazy. I looked like a blind dog That's what I looked like. I took like 4 dance classes after that. And I did get, I think, a little better, at least a little bit more confident in trying things. And now I've gotten to the point where being like, you know what, group dance classes are kind of difficult for me. They go super fast through these steps. I can't really keep up. So now you know what, I'm gonna do it with you guys. What I've been thinking about doing is just booking a dance studio or like a studio space for an hour and playing music, being in a room where no one can see me and just like dancing. And yeah, I'm gonna look insane, but no, nobody's gonna know. Nobody's gonna know. And I will, through that experience, I already know, find out what feels right in my body and what doesn't. And if I can build that confidence alone, then I can definitely at least go to a dance class and like fuck up a little bit less and be like, oh wait, low-key, I can do this. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. And I think that's actually a perfect example, because the key steps in starting something that you're scared to do is you have to remove the pressure from yourself. You don't have to do this in front of everybody. If you want to be an influencer and you're scared to post videos, just film them then. Don't post them. Film them and edit them and keep them in your drafts. Just keep doing that until you're like, oh, you know what, low-key, this is actually pretty good. And then you can start posting. You don't have to put your shit out there immediately. You can move in silence for a while. You don't have to be super vulnerable immediately, but you do have to do something. You do have to like try and start in some way. So it doesn't have to be public. And it definitely doesn't have to be perfect, okay? Don't fucking email me about the Harry Styles pre-sale. I actually don't want to talk about it. Sorry about that. It doesn't have to be public. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to exist. I keep saying that to myself. Like, even with this podcast, I like don't know if I'm in my flow yet, to be honest with you. I skipped last week. I was going through a lot, low-key. So thanks for being patient with me. But I'm still finding my flow with this podcast. But if I sat here and was like, I don't know if I can fully be consistent, I don't know if I'm going to know what to talk about every week, then I just wouldn't have made the podcast. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm recording this on Monday night, okay? It's due tomorrow, guys. It has to be posted tomorrow. So as soon as I get off of recording, I'm editing and exporting and hoping to God it gets up in time. But I wouldn't even have a scheduled upload if I didn't start the first one. You know what I'm saying? Some of these episodes are shit. Guys, they're just not the best. But I'm figuring it out. I had to make it exist before I could make it good. That's just true. You can't make the best apple pie if you never buy an apple. Fucking revolutionary advice, I know. I think this topic specifically is spoken on a lot, and it's so easy to say like, oh, you don't have to be good. You just have to, you know, like, you don't, everybody, like, practice makes perfect, like, whatever. Yeah, we hear that all the time. But like, what are you doing about that? What are you actually doing about the people telling you these things? Are you letting it resonate? Are you letting it ruminate? Are you letting yourself, you know, be that rotisserie chicken in the thought? Hello? What does that mean? I actually feel like I know what it means. Imagine you're a rotisserie chicken. Okay. Walk with me. Imagine you're a rotisserie chicken, okay? And you are being spun around. And there's something happening there's like a heat that's happening while you're being spun around. No? What? I don't know. Let's do the advice. See? I'm making it exist. It doesn't make sense, but I'm doing it. You're listening to it. Hey. Okay. Okay, let's go to advice. LOL. Okay, our first advice question was actually more of a request for a video, but I don't honestly know if I have enough material to talk about this quite yet, so I'm just going to go over it quickly now. Basically, this person says, hey, thank you for making this podcast. You're welcome. I'm on the journey of just getting evaluated for autism. All my life, I've never had space for boundaries or privacy. I had to expose my thoughts, so I word vomit a lot. I was wondering if you could do a video about boundaries, how to build them, and privacy building as well. The safety to not have to do something or speak about something. I feel like I open up too fast to people and scare them away. Help. Real. Like I said, I don't know if I have enough material to do a whole video on this, but I can give you my 2 cents so far. Honestly, I feel like I grew up very similarly. I feel like I kind of just told everybody anything. I a little bit still do that, but in a different way. I think the boundaries first, you need to figure out what your boundaries are with yourself. For me, at a baseline, I have basically I'm pretty much happy to share about 90% of my life with anybody. And that's my boundary that I have. And then the next step is the people in my life. What do I feel comfortable telling you about? What do I feel comfortable being honest with you about? And I'm not saying I'm lying, but like, I'm not going to tell you my deepest, darkest secrets and be honest with you about my deepest insecurities if I don't feel like you're going to be responsible with that information. Knowing where the line is with certain people and realizing that you don't have to have the same boundaries with everyone. And you don't have to have a reason. You can just simply say you don't want to tell that person. And that's enough. And the tea about building boundaries and privacy for yourself is you have to be kind of selfish and not really give a fuck that you're being selfish in this way, because I personally don't think it's selfish, but when you're learning how to do it, it feels selfish. So specifically, you said like having the safety to not have to do something or speak about something. I think the biggest thing is you have to realize that that is in your control. Even if it feels like it's not, it is. It really is. There are certain people who I want to tell certain things to, like really badly, because I want them to have a certain reaction. However, through knowing them, I have learned that they're just not that kind of person. They're not going to have this reaction. Or I wish I could trust them, but I can't. And so I have to use the reality of what they are showing me and say, yeah, I had a good weekend. Like, thank you so much. What about you? Instead of saying, oh my God, I actually had the best weekend ever. Like, I got a job opportunity. I'm really excited about this interview, blah, blah, blah. You can't tell everybody that. And you might want to, but wanting to and knowing that if you do, it might not be the best. So you alter your course of action. Obviously, those are two different things, but one is healthier than the other. One is an immediate want, and one is like genuine self-protection. So yeah, I would say that. And then I would also just make a side note. Personally, I don't believe that if I tell something to the wrong person, I'm fucking over my opportunity. I don't really fully believe in evil eye. I think there is truth to it for sure. I think people can definitely send you fucked up energy. And if you allow that to fuck with your head, then you will be fucked with. But if somebody learns some information about you that you didn't necessarily want them to know, they can only use that as a weapon if you let them. That's just the truth. I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense. It's a practice. It takes a second to feel comfortable with it, but it is in your control. This one's funny. Why does one mildly weird interaction ruin my entire mood for the rest of the day? Simply put, Diva, you don't know how to emotionally regulate yourself. Sorry. But if it's something that small and it ruins your entire day, I hate to say this. I'm going to be really honest with you, actually. This is a choice. You are making a choice at this point, because if it's one mildly weird interaction and you're allowing your entire mood for the rest of the day get fucked up, you are choosing not to take a second and recenter yourself and continue. So I would personally say in this scenario, if I'm being 100% real and honest with you, which I am, you need to work on your emotional regulation, and you have to want to have a good day. If you want it to be ruined, anything can ruin your day. But if you want to have a good day, you can. You know what I'm saying? I know that can be annoying for some people to hear, but it's true. I was going to explain myself, but I'm not going to. It's just true. Okay. Love you. Okay, I'm going to stop it here for this episode because I think I'm just yapping at this point. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. We're getting back into the groove of things. Thanks for being nice to me about last week. It was a rough one. But yeah, we're getting back into it. And don't think I forgot, okay? We talked about you doing something tonight, today, this morning, whatever time it is when you're listening to this. Take action today. Even if it's tiny action, starting. All you have to do is start. You don't have to know what you're doing. You just have to start, because that's how you start to know what you're doing. Love you guys. Bye.